Okay. Elfeni wants to do a voice reveal. You can go ahead and do that if you want, I guess. We're starting, so I don't know if you want to do that. You said that in the chat.
Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
Elfeni, you said you wanted to do a voice reveal. I don't know if you want to go do that, because, I'm waiting.
Speak up.
Yeah, we can't. Okay, okay, we're just gonna start. If anyone can, if anyone can hear me, go to my audio settings video.
Can you
Okay,
hear
can
me?
you guys hear me good?
No.
Go to my audio set, wait, just turn on my audio settings manually, if you can't hear me, because I don't know what else to do. This is my speaker, can you hear me?
Hey stupid, hey stupid, hey stupid.
Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me? Okay, we're starting. Hello and welcome to this panel discussion. Today we are going to be discussing things about the Patrick Thomas Julianelle and Elizabeth Marie Hranek versus the People cases that seem to have some fallacies that we don't understand and we don't know why. Rosa, why are you laughing? Eduuard? Okay, so first thing I want to discuss is regarding Cloud and that whole thing that people had with him. As on the original video of Cloud, it is seen that Cloud has a wound in his fur, but this does not seem to make sense as I forget who it was. Someone in this Discord's mother said that it could be a sign of an infection or it could be a alopecia, and apparently, according to multiple sources, Persian cats can shed their fur when they become stressed. And in addition to that, Pat's father, on his own Twitter in a recently deleted tweet, mentions that Cloud has a skin problem and he is getting better. This is corroborated by the fact that if Liz really did see Cloud getting abused, it did not make sense that she wouldn't have spoken up about it. So let's turn over the floor to people who want to discuss this. I want to hear what people have to say. If anyone wants to start. Rosa, Eduuard, if you want to start. No, I mean, if you guys want to talk, let's do it in the voice chat. I'm not looking at chat right now.
Okay, I unmuted.
Okay, Eduuard, what is your opinion on this?
About the skin condition
Yeah,
of
I just
Cloud.
went over the evidence. What do you think? Because it wouldn't make sense that Liz would not have admitted to people that Pat was abusing Cloud if she really did take that video and was concerned. And it also doesn't make sense since it's corroborated by multiple sources confirm that Persian cats suffer from alopecia. And someone's own mother, who's a veterinarian, said that it looks like an infection of sorts, because it wouldn't make sense if Pat was just hitting Cloud or kicking him, that there would be this just one place that would be a wound that would have open flesh. Because if Pat was abusing Cloud, it wouldn't just be in one area. It wouldn't be like this unless he was ripping fur out. So, what is your opinion on this? All this evidence, Pat's father, Liz, this doesn't make sense. What do you think is going on? Why don't these add up?
I think Liz was just concerned about it and didn't really think much of it and just straight up said that there's that.
So you think that Liz took this already, and you think that maybe now she's using it as a reason to further, she's convinced that Pat did this and is using it as further reasoning for her own case.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. If anyone else in voice chat wants to talk about this issue, we can talk about it before we move on to the next topic. Anyone? Sure. Okay, so no one else wants to talk. I don't know why y'all are in voice chat, but okay. The second topic...
Okay, I have something to say.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah, she could have not, spoken up because, Pat could have, what is it called? Threatened her about it. So that could have been a reason she could have spoken up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that, but you have a good point. And I'm curious that if the court transcripts, I don't know if that's released on the Duval clerk website. If that's admitted, that'd be interesting because she didn't include it in her witness statement to the police, I don't think. But if Pat did threaten her, that would just further add to her claim. And that's interesting because you admitted to her that he threatened her and that it's possible that it could be revealed in the court case, because I looked at the documents and apparently Liz's court date is June 2nd, which means that her court date is like 2 weeks before Pat, meaning that if she invites something or she does a witness statement, anything going on of that sort could affect Pat's possible outcome of his trial, and Pat, if he was called up as a witness and said something incriminating, he could be arrested without going to trial. And, okay, so I'm going to move on to the next topic. Let's see. So Pat and Liz were both arrested for domestic assault, and it's a he said, she said case. Pat, I think, from what I checked, let me pull up the witness statement. Okay, so apparently Pat said that she began hitting him and breaking things. But this does not align with Elizabeth's story in saying that she was scratching him, trying to claw him off for self-defense, while she was hit to the ground and she was slammed down, which does line up with her story for being slammed on the ground, but the infection in her knees doesn't exactly make sense, although it is possible. Does anyone... Okay, Squirrel, I think you have your mic on. I can hear things in the background.
Yeah. Well, it did say on her doctor's report she had a concussion and abrasions on her foot.
Yes, abrasions.
It did say it was then that in that time, because she would have been probably sent to the hospital after booking, or maybe even sent directly. So it could have taken maybe, like, if it was like if she got booked first and then got sent to the hospital, if it wasn't that bad, in that time it could have developed an infection depending on how dirty it was, if she was running around barefoot, obviously she was naked, so she must have been running around barefoot. So if she had a cut, she was probably getting it in mud and dirt and grass.
Yeah, that
so I
makes
could see
sense.
where she could have infection in that time period.
Yeah,
so that does make sense. She probably didn't grab her shoes when she left, so that does line up with what it says in the police report on her side. And it says that she was picked up by him and slammed to the ground. That makes sense. She does say there was a concussion on the doctor's slip, so that much does line up.
Yes, that makes sense. And on the police report, they said that on her forearm, she had abrasions on her knees as well, which makes sense, and that they bandaged it on the scene. I don't understand why they wouldn't have bandaged her feet, but that is speculation that maybe they didn't know, or maybe they just sent her to the hospital for that.
Maybe it was too bad to bandage.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely something we're not entirely sure of. Okay, so this is one that's definitely more speculative. So Pat met Jen for the first time in 2006. That is when they became friends. That's when they met on the bus shelter. I am thinking, so a lot of people are saying that Pat, he since he never expressed type of behavior before, he'd never been arrested. So people are saying that maybe Pat,
Well, he had.
Yeah, so maybe he
was arrested in
Yeah, he was
Connecticut
arrested then.
for domestic violence
Yes.
against his brother.
That's all. That's that. Well, I remember there's a whole thing, but other than that,
Yep.
Pat hadn't ever hurt a person he's in a relationship with. People are saying that Pat turned sour because of his divorce. He was unhappy with how the divorce turned out. It was his high school sweetheart. He's went off on bad terms. All of that, and people are saying that Pat maybe got angry, and it just made it worse when Lenny and him went down awful. Those both people very unhappy with the relationship. People are saying that these caused him to maybe get more angry and eventually take his anger out on Liz. Do you guys think this is true? Because I don't I see where they're coming from, but I don't fully see how that would manifest in that way.
Okay, yes, there's a possibility. There's many circumstances we don't know. We don't know if he was verbally abusive or whatever to Jen. We don't know if he was cheating on Jen. We don't know if he'd had this behavior prior to the marriage or if it's something that happened after it. If we don't know if he was like this during the marriage, like maybe cheating or acting suspicious around Jen. We don't know what was going on. There's a possibility it could just be escalating behavior then. Like slowly graduating them into verbal abuse with like a Lenny, and then trying to initiate physical abuse with Nika, and now actually physically hurting Liz. It could have graduated that way. It also could have been something that, yeah, maybe the breakup just totally, between him and Jen, maybe it just totally broke him. You know,
Yeah.
he might have been fragile to begin with.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it happened. There's multiple ways it can happen. Like, we don't know how he was prior. That information is not privy to us. We don't know.
Yeah, Pat did lead a very
But I will
life.
say this: most of the time, this behavior is not just started randomly. It either happens over time, or it is something that triggers it.
Okay,
I don't know.
So wait, Eduuard said he wants to talk. Let's give him a chance to talk. He said he wanted to discuss this.
Who?
Eduuard said he wants to discuss it.
Ah.
I don't think. Oh yeah, so he's in the chat. If you want to speak about it now, you can. You can speak if you want. I don't see any voice coming from him.
Okay, wait.
Oh, he's here.
Yeah, I'm processing. Okay, so I think that ever since Jen and Pat broke up, it's not, they broke up because he didn't have kids, or after that, we all think that it's not about having kids.
Yeah, that's not the reason.
Yeah,
no way.
That's not the reason.
No, that's not the reason. You can work around that, and just because he didn't want kids doesn't mean he didn't want kids in the future. So there was definitely a deeper thing between him and Jen besides just the kids.
Yeah, and
so either it was cheating, maybe she was cheating. We don't know. We don't know what kind of person Jen is outside of this. Maybe he was cheating. Maybe there was some kind of abuse that was going on that was not physical. But maybe they don't realize it was going on.
Yeah.
You know, they may look past it, not realize, and it might have just been a thing that drove a wedge between them, and they eventually started hating each other. Yeah. We don't know.
Jen even said in one of her... Jen even said
but it's definitely more kids. Definitely.
Jen even said in one of her in-person videos with Pat that she did not want kids. She said that in around 2017, a few years after they moved. She said she didn't want kids, said she was happy with her cat. And so I'm thinking, yeah, that's definitely not the reason. Okay, next...
I was considering he was talking kids with Lenny and he was talking kids with Liz. Yeah.
I have something to add to.
Yeah.
I think he just wanted to have, more freedom. He wanted to be with other women. Jen.
That's not what freedom means. But yeah, I understand. Well, you're also, lagging out. You're breaking up. I don't know if your connection's just bad, but... I have Discord. If you want, just type it in the chat. That's fine. Yeah, you've been cutting out the whole time. While Eduard's doing that, the next topic I wanted to discuss was so both Pat and Liz were arrested for domestic assault because they don't know who to believe. Both options, while Liz has much more severe options, it is both technically possible that they're both lying or one of them is lying. It's a very he said, she said scenario, and it works in the favor of either one to figure out who actually assaulted who. It could have been both. They apparently, according to them, they were both drinking. We don't know this. Pat said Liz is bipolar. I don't think she is. And so they both made very accusatory claims, and I'm thinking from all of that, it is very possible that both of them went at it, although it is possible that Pat overpowered Liz, because, he is a weightlifter and a power lifter, and he is, 230 pounds. That goes in his favor. What do you guys think about this? Is it possible?
I'm going back a little to the not drinking. Well, on both police reports, it said they were both intoxicated / slurred. So they were both drunk. We do know there was a picture that was taken of Liz, Pat, and their friend Ethan at the club Ethan works at the night this happened. Obviously, she's not 21, so Ethan works there. How did she get into the club? You can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, definitely.
Pat's best friends with Ethan. So, maybe Ethan might get in trouble for contributing to a minor because he did let her into a bar. But that's the side note that, But yeah, so they were drunk. They were both drunk and probably drinking at home to still be slurred and intoxicated 2 hours after the bar closed.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, I definitely think I think they're both volatile. I know she was pictured in the past with guns. She's got an attitude in a way. She might be the kind that thinks she's tough. I don't know. From what I've talked to her myself, I don't know. She seems just hurt. But, that's, and again, another side note. But, yeah, I think they're both pretty volatile. I think definitely maybe they got into a fight. Obviously, the back of that paper, there's something going on. Maybe she accused him of cheating or talking to another girl, and it got violent. Drinking can do a lot. But I think he could, even if she slapped him, he could easily overpower her. She's a teeny tiny little thing compared to him. Even if she initiated it, the amount of damage she could do compared to him will definitely reflect on the court. He is a big man who could definitely kill her if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up. I didn't even think about the bar. So Pat's
and also one other thing, men in rage tend to have a lot of adrenaline. I know from my mother, she was a big lady pregnant with me, and my dad, who was much shorter than Pat and much heavier, was able to pick her up and slam her against the wall and give her a concussion. So men can do a lot when they're angry and big.
Yeah, you bring up a good point.
It's going to play in her favor, the fact Pat's so big compared to her.
Yeah. The bar, that's a good point. So Pat's friend Ethan Davies, definitely that bar, I am 100% sure that he lets her in, because I think she's still shy of 20. I think she's 20 right now. So I think that's definitely a good point.
Birthday's in October to be 21. Yep, she's only... Yeah.
So he definitely let her in because, Pat's his best friend. And so I'm thinking, definitely...
And money.
I don't know about money, but if Ethan is called to the stand, because there's no doubt he'll be called to the stand in Pat's case at least, that this will be a huge I plead the fifth moment, because, Ethan committed a felony by allowing a 21-year-old to get drunk out of her mind enough that she and her boyfriend were going at it later in the night. And I'm thinking definitely that maybe it is possible that both of them really did want to go at each other, but not because they were angry, not because they were all this, but because the alcohol definitely just elevated whatever feelings they had. I don't see either of them as people who would just one day, after years of not doing anything, beating up someone. Pat has had a history, but for the most part, he's never hurt Jen, who he was with for 13 years. So the alcohol definitely did play a part in this. Oh, Bestie wants to say something. Let's let her do that. I don't know if she's doing it in chat or in voice chat. Okay, so she's fixing her mic. I don't know what that means.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so since she's a smaller person, wouldn't her like intoxication levels, like her being drunk, I guess, be smaller, like her tolerance, because like he's a
Oh,
bigger
yeah.
body, his like
Oh,
tolerance
yeah.
would be bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, a couple shots would probably put her out pretty quickly. Like, she's a little thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that would play into probably some factor there, and they were there pretty late. Like, I think that picture was taken at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, the arrest, they got drunk and they beat each other at like 5 in the morning. Like, who's doing that at 5 in the morning unless you've been out clubbing all night?
Well, they were arrested at 3:30. 3:37?
Oh, wait, so it was
like an hour and a half after the bar closed.
Wait, I
So
think
they must have still been drinking at home to be that slurred an hour and a half after leaving the bar.
Does the booking differ with that?
It says so right here. I'm looking at it. On 5/16/21 at 3:2700 hours. So
you're right.
3:27.
The arrest was at 5. They did it at 3.
Yep. They were booked at like 5 or 6. Yep.
Okay, so does anyone have anything else to add to this before we move on to maybe our second to final topic or our final topic? From what it seems like no one else has anything, so we'll move on to the next topic, and that involves Liz's Pat's bond. Pat's bond was posted at the day he was arrested, obviously, so he would have a chance to get out. For some reason, they gave him a heavier bond. We'll talk about Liz's in a minute. His bond was paid like an hour after he was arrested. I don't think he paid the bond himself. I think his mom paid the bond, and that's the whole thing because she just moved to Jacksonville a few years ago. But other than that, Liz's bond is interesting. 1 second, let me just close this for a second to pull up Liz's bond on my screen. Liz's bond. Okay, I don't have Liz's bond at the moment. Well, wait, no, I do. Let me just. Liz's bond was very weird, in my opinion, since they were both arrested for domestic assault. Because Liz actually never had bail paid. She was ROR'd, so they let her go as long as she would appear at her court case, which is in about 7 days. And I find this really interesting because basically from this, what I'm assuming is that since she didn't pay the $3,519 or whatever in bond like Pat did, I think that they think that she was doing self-defense, because even though she was arrested for battery, she was still doing self-defense. So I'm thinking,
yes,
that the court,
yes,
that the police think that she was doing self-defense.
I have a point to add on that.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Well, in Florida, both parties are arrested when there's domestic abuse if there is counterflicting things. So yes, she will get charged for it, but the fact that she was released on ROR literally pretty much means that the court already has enough evidence against Pat that he is the offender in this situation. Like, he got the bond for a reason. She didn't get a bond. Like, literally, is pretty much indicating that she is the victim. Yes. You don't just get released from jail without bond if you do something. That doesn't happen. If they found that there was evidence that she committed a crime against him, she'd have been on a bond. Trust me, I know. She would have been on a bond. It happens. I have had friends that have done this kind of stuff. If the girl was found guilty, they aren't released on ROR. Like, no. The fact that he was put on a bond indicates that they found him as the offender, and they had enough reason to give him a bond.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Does anyone else have anything to add about this, or can we move on to what I think is our final topic, and then we'll have some closure for comments? Okay, no one else does. We'll move on to our final topic, which is relating to how this entire thing came out. So, according to Brad's Bail Bonds, which is a Florida-based bail agent association, and according to them, talking about or discussing your the crime you're involved in is not required. It is not regulated in the state of Florida, which is where they were both arrested. And Liz never, I don't think, publicly started an announcement by doing all this. I think Liz actually, she never said anything. I think it was Eleni who found out. I don't know how she found out, but she posted online after, I assume, someone probably told her or she found out. Liz didn't sign an NDA for her agreement because she wouldn't have signed an NDA if Pat was still in jail at the time that she was bailed. So why do you think Liz wouldn't say anything? Like, do you think she was maybe just ashamed, or she didn't want to talk about it? Or, like, why did Eleni have to come out with this for it to be a thing?
I can clear up a couple things with that, because I was one of the first to find out. I was actually the second. How it happened was Snips was literally on Instagram, saw her post the fact that she had a concussion. I went to the Vol County Sheriff. I searched her name because something told me something happened. Then my mother was like, wait, search her name, search Pat's name. So that's how I did, and I found it. I didn't share it online initially. We actually didn't share it online for a while. There was other people that posted it first, and there were 20-some people, if not a few more ahead of us, who had already viewed the arrest records online. So there is a chance that it definitely got put out before we did. I was actually the first to post it on my Twitter because I felt that his fans deserve to know that, hey, this did happen. Like, you need to be aware this just happened. You can make your judgments as you will from this, but you need to be aware this happened. It just wasn't shown that I was the first person because I only have 48 followers. Then Eleni posted it and a few other people did, and then it kept growing.
Okay, Eduuard wants to talk. Eduuard, you're on mute. I don't know if you want to talk, but like you said you did. Okay, it seems as Eduardo isn't talking, so I'll just respond to Squirrels real quick before letting her continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
or whatever.
So you said that other people posted it before you. So Liz didn't publicly talk about it until after all these people discussed it. I don't think she ever mentioned it until like the supposed like screenshots of those text messages, which
she had posted something on her Instagram.
Yeah, about the concussion. You never
before
said
it was deleted.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely.
And then,
Definitely suspicious. Well, not suspicious, but it's definitely.
And then the only other thing she said was the stuff on Twitter about posting the injury she had posted and talking about that, but we don't know what was going on with that. She deleted the Twitter stuff after that, so don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So that's definitely an interesting talking point. Let's see what else is on here. So, let's see, anything else? Okay, so, on to, Pat's, I don't know, this might be a quick topic, Pat's own parents, because Pat's, own parents replied, I know his mother, who, I'm not gonna, like, show their Twitter usernames, but his mom replied to a single single comment under Jen's Twitter post, saying that quote unquote Pat would never hurt a fly, and his father commented under the video of Cloud, saying that Cloud has a skin condition, and so Pat's parents are very much defending him in this scenario, publicly. I don't think they've ever made a public post about Pat. I've checked their social media. They've never issued a statement until now. And since Pat's mom bailed him out of jail, I am curious, and they would know best about Pat's assault with his brother back when he lived in like Connecticut and all that stuff. I know Pat definitely like had tendencies when he was younger. He threw a book at someone who called him fat in middle school. So definitely, I'm thinking they would know best if this was actual Pat. If they had a feeling that Pat actually did this, they would keep quiet about it. But they're confident, whether or not it's true, that Pat didn't do anything. They've never made a public post about Pat visible to others other than Pat and Jen in 2015, a single photo. Do you guys think that they're really confident about Pat being innocent, or are they trying to cover it up to save face?
I think they're trying to cover it up to save face. He's got a hell of a brand and a lot of money behind him. If that goes down, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of stuff. So yeah, I definitely think they're trying to save face a lot. Maybe they believe he's innocent and can't do this kind of thing, but I believe it's more trying to save face.
Okay, I saw, I think it was Rylan was unmuted for a second. Did you want to say something, or?
I'm unmuted.
Oh no, I'm not Rylan, I meant Bestie.
Oh yeah, I basically wanted to say the same thing, and like, I don't know, like, since there's parents, they'd want to believe he's innocent, because, not sure, but yeah, I guess his parents would think differently.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking that's it, because there's also possibility they want to cover it up, they don't want to comment. I reached out to them in a kind of, like, condoling way, because I'm still, like, kind of impartial, and they didn't reply. I'm not surprised, but I'm definitely thinking trying to save face like this is kind of sketchy when Pat's dad ended up deleting the tweet anyways, which I don't know why he was, because he was getting the majority of the support. So I'm thinking definitely there's something going on. They for sure do not know because they weren't there. They're stuck to their own beliefs and what Pat tells them. I am thinking it is possible that they were trying to save face or cover it up, but there really is no way of knowing what happened. And, it really sucks because, Pat's parents, I'm sure they're very upset about this, but there really, really isn't, like, a way to conclusively say if what they're actually doing, because, they're like 70, they have a son, they want to help, they want to believe that he didn't do any of this, but, they want to believe this, but they just maybe they know deep down that Pat lost it. Whether or not he meant to, he did end up, because like she was hurt. Whether or not he was self-defensing or he wasn't, or she was self-defensing or she wasn't, Pat did hurt Liz. Maybe they are scared that Pat's aggression from when he was younger is coming up again. Maybe they are scared that he lost it, and they want to save them. I don't know why they're saving the money. Pat's has a house worth $5 million, and he has 3 book deals. He still has people who stay loyal to him. I don't think as much as it's about the money as, oh, we got to protect this brand. Pat's successful. We want to make sure that he maintains this, because he's not that old. He's like, it's not like this old day thing where people in the public face would be old and they would die with their scandals. This is a new age where all of these people who have made their lives public, some more than others, that their lives are public when they're young. Pat started his YouTube channel when he was like 20, 23, and so he has a whole life ahead of him. And how his family defends his reputation, and how all these people who saw him when they were younger, every day people come back, oh, I remember him when I was younger, I remember him when I was younger. This entire situation that his family carves from now on will be the determining factor in how people will view him for the rest of his life, whether or not he's in jail for the rest of it. Does anyone want to say anything on this, or should we, ask for closing comments?
Am I cutting off?
Oh, go ahead.
Did I cut off?
I don't think so.
I just wanted to test it out.
Okay, so if, Squirrel, if you want to say something, if anyone wants to move on to
Yeah, it was
closing.
just what I said in the chat that, there's a lot of people who don't know who he is anymore or don't watch him anymore, and his brand is slowly dying. They're going to try to hold on to it as long as they can.
Yeah, is this really like a situation where they're, like milking a dead cow? Are they really trying to get every last drop out? Because, like, even if Pat did assault Liz, I don't think it would really make sense for them to try to cream out stuff, because Pat's channel just isn't doing well anymore. You can see, like, even after a day, his videos get, what, 100,000 views? I remember logging on, day one, he'd get 500,000 views. Over the next week, it'd get 1,000,000 views. All the Jen obviously leaving, she has nothing to do with this anymore. This is a whole other realm. People liked her, and she's gone now because they broke up, whether it was malicious or not. Pat has a dying brand. Pat had a whole thing going with Eleni, whether or not you support Pat or you support Eleni. They had an awful falling out. It damaged both of their public images to some extent. And so now Pat was starting to rebound because he'd have Jen log on every once in a while. And but Jen can't do that anymore because she has her own boyfriend. She can't keep mingling with her ex-husband. She has a life. She has a whole new life out in North Carolina or wherever she moved to, and she is not going to stay behind and watch this whole thing. She issued that one tweet because she wanted to, just make her own statement. She had never been abused by Pat. That is her truth. But it really does come down to the fact that Pat probably won't be successful. He probably won't be garnering anywhere close to 1,000,000 views a week or anything like that by the end of this year. And it's really just it's sad. Not because I care if Pat did abuse Liz. I don't care at all. I don't give a fuck about him anymore. If he did hit a woman, that is disgusting. But it's sad that all of these people involved, if everyone here has been hurt to some extent, that is sad, not because they were hurt, but because they had to take part in an online feud where Pat's fans and Eleni's fans were fighting, were saying hurtful things, were attacking each other. They had to watch over as the people they care about and that who supported them from day one go at it as both of them lose face in the public. And I think this entire situation, it really disappoints me because it really isn't about domestic abuse to most people anymore. It's about who they support. Are they going to stand behind them regardless of evidence? And for both them and the people they support, that isn't going to help them in court. That isn't going to help them in life. That isn't going to help them move on after this is all over. If either one of them goes to jail, if someone does go to jail, if they get out, what's going to happen to them by the time they get out in 10, 20 years? We don't know. Obviously, they won't have a following anymore. They don't have a life. They can make YouTube videos. No one's going to watch them. So it really comes down to now how we move forward as people who support one creator or the other. And we really need to think about, after all this court trial is over, are we going to continue by and watch these people as they try to, garner support as they both fade away into obscurity? Or are we going to move on and just remember this was good at one point, but at this point, it's not okay anymore. Remember what you had, move on. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Yeah. Thank you everyone who talked today. Thank you to everyone who listened. I just want thank you to Eduuard, Squirrel, Bestlly, anyone who talked. Thank you for listening. Thank you for voicing your opinions. I think that this definitely, if not convinced people or helped people understand, it definitely just created a more open dialogue. And so I guess we'll be ending this now, but just thanks for listening to this discussion. Thanks for being open to hearing ideas.